What kind of pins should you be creating to grow your Pinterest account? Are idea pins enough to gain followers, to get conversions, to build a presence on Pinterest? What about standard pins? Are they making a comeback on Pinterest? Should you be creating them? Well, my name is Tereza Toledo. I'm a Pinterest expert strategist, and I'm going to be talking about those things today. What kind of pins you should be pinning? So we know how Pinterest is pushing idea pins, right? Especially with video. But what about standard pins? Do they still have a place? Are they still relevant? Well, stay with me. Make sure to subscribe and watch until the end, because today I'm sharing with you what is going on with standard pins, aka static pins, and what is the best pinning strategy to grow your Pinterest presence and gain results. I am sharing also the best current pinning strategy with you. Today's Pinterest algorithm seems to really favor short form videos in the form of idea pins, but that's not all there is to Pinterest. We also have standard pins, static pins, which have been the platform's backbone since it launched in 2010 and are still very relevant and important today. So first, what is a standard pin? Well, standard pins are the usual pin that we see, the ones that we create with a static image, we schedule and we use the most. This type of pin has been around since Pinterest started. They are everywhere on the platform and they are great for driving traffic. They are the easiest type of pin to create, and many people like to create them in batches and then schedule them to post at regular intervals. Well, idea pins cannot be scheduled. The only kind of pin we could schedule is the standard static pins. We could also schedule video pins, but they are in an iffy moment, so we're not going to talk about them today. Now, since Pinterest started with idea pins, standard pins kind of felt a little sidelined. It's not that Pinterest hasn't been giving them distribution, but rather Pinterest has been pushing idea pins so hard that it can be hard for standard pins to get the attention that they used to. But as you will see, you still need to create standard pins. Pinterest is a platform that really isn't like any of the other social media platforms out there. It has over 400 million users, and those users have a very high intent when using the platform. Pinners come to the platform with an idea in mind, or sometimes not even the idea in mind, but we see a lot of engagement from this audience when they find what they're looking for. They may be just scrolling, but most of them are searching for ideas, inspiration, things that can make their lives better. Now, Pinterest has a unique platform identity. They don't come to Pinterest just because, they want to hang out, they're killing time like they do on TikTok, on Instagram. Some do. But they are there because it is Pinterest. Even with all the algorithm changes, Pinterest will still maintain its identity as it is. Now, if Pinterest had never changed and we would have remained stuck on standard pins, static pins forever, the platform wouldn't be as fun as it is today. Video and idea pins added extra value to the overall pinner experience. You have to strike a balance between the useful old features and the new features that might come to a platform. Right now, short form video is huge. It is a great way to connect with your audience. Pinterest is pushing idea pins and video pins, but that doesn't mean standard pins are not useful anymore. If Pinterest was only for in-app consumption with short-form video, Pinterest would end up losing part of its fundamental nature. Idea pins keep you on the platform, but at the end of the day, Pinterest is a visual search engine that rely on static pins, standard pins, and users clicking through them to get to the results they want. Pinterest platform identity is important to its success, and standard pins are important to that identity. Now, should you be creating standard pins? Yes, you should. A well-rounded Pinterest pinning strategy focuses on creating standard pins alongside your idea pins. Standard pins are what lead people off of Pinterest into specific parts of your website. Remember, standard pins are the ones that we add the link to a part of the website where we want them to go. People see them, find them, tap on them, and go straight to the website where they can buy the product, where they can read the article or take action. On the other hand, idea pins keep users on Pinterest for longer and encourage them to visit the link that you have in your bio. They are great for building a following and leading people to your profile. But if you have a website and you have something to sell, you need standard pins. Pinterest users expect to be able to click through a link and be taken somewhere out of the platform where they can take action, right? Now, if you are a business that wants to use Pinterest to sell, those standard pins will end up acting as part of your catalog. Hello, product pins. Pins that simply feature an image of your product or how your product can be used and lead pinners right to it are very powerful. When you turn images from your website into standard pins, people can see what you're selling. You know, your video and idea pins will help build trust and share more of your mission with your audience. If Pinterest really wants brands and merchants to be on the platform, they need to give standard pins a good fighting chance. My prediction is that we are going to start seeing a better balance between standard pins, distribution, and idea pins. Now, we need to talk about different pins for different purposes. Idea pins and standard pins don't have to compete with each other. It's not one or the other. You don't need to choose one or the other. You should choose to make both types of pins to succeed. That way you can reach the largest number of people and build your audience in a more effective way. The truth is that idea pins and standard pins have different purposes. You need to learn how to use them both if you want to be successful in using Pinterest for business. Idea pins are great for followers, engagement, and directing people to your profile, while standard pins are great for leading them into conversions. They are the pin that at the moment will get people going straight to the part of your website where you want them to be. The bottom line is that you need both. Standard pins and idea pins serve different purposes. And if you're using Pinterest for your business, you should be using both in your content creation and pinning strategy. Now, again, you don't have to do one or the other, and it's not a matter of going all in into idea pins and just a little bit on standard pins. What I really like to do, and my favorite strategy when it comes to creating pin content and scheduling them, is to have a balance, right? Remember, idea pins take longer to create. More thought and more value should be given in them. They are not just a teaser. They are a place where you're supposed to share a whole idea. While standard pin is a teaser, it is a cover of a magazine, and pretty much they are encouraging people to take action and go to your website. So how much should you be pinning from both? Depends on how much content you have. It depends how fast you want to get to your goals. It really depends on how much efforts you are ready to put in. A good balance would be somewhere leading towards 50% into standard pins, maybe even 75% of your strategy going into creating standard pins, and the rest into idea pins. The one thing that I really don't want to see you doing is to leaning into just one format. The only exception here would be creators who are focusing on creating and growing within the platform only, or creators that do not have a website. But if you're a business owner, if your goal is to get people going to your website, if your goal is to get people seeing and buying your products, you need both. Now, if you want to learn more about Pinterest, make sure to subscribe and watch my next video for more.